Hello, beautiful mamas. There are tasks that moms dread, and today is part 2 of what we started last week, which was trying to fix the hard parts of our day. I talked about 5 last week. I will link the video if you missed it. So today we are going through numbers 6 through 10 to figure out how we can get more peace in our lives by fixing those harder parts of the day or those tasks that you just absolutely dread. All right, you mamas with little ones, let's talk about diaper changes. Does anyone just hate changing diapers? Does anyone just dread when that time comes that you're changing this diaper? That is okay. That is totally okay. It's normal. We're all gonna have things that we don't enjoy. So let's just sit with that for a second. Let's just really allow ourselves to have that aversion to changing diapers. Are we saying we're never gonna change diapers? Of course not. Am I telling you to neglect your baby or your toddler by not changing their diaper? Heavens no, no. But it's okay to just decide, yeah, this is probably my least favorite part of this baby stage. This is probably the hardest part of my day, is this changing poopy diaper afternoon whenever it typically happens. Let's just acknowledge that. And then let's get to work on something that could be helpful. Number 1, I think it's always safe to ask yourself, what's so hard about this? Is there anything that I can do to make this easier on myself? Do I have a great diaper changing station set up? If the answer is no, try that. Is my child old enough to just really protest and they're kicking and screaming and it's actually this fight over changing their diaper? If that's the case, I would kind of go back to what I said about dressing your toddler. Eliminate that battle. Their diaper has to get changed. So are you giving them a choice? Are you telling them, do you want to change your diaper now or in 2 minutes? That choice alone might solve the problem. I'm serious. That solves so many of my problems, just giving my child a choice. 2 options, and you're gonna make sure that you control one of those choices. What else? Maybe you could just listen to some music when you're changing this diaper, and it becomes something that it's just a little relief from the discomfort. Hate changing this diaper, but I'm at least gonna turn on my favorite song or something. I don't know, you can be really creative, and mainly you're just allowing yourself to have a hard part of your day. You don't have to get worked up over it. It's a choice to kind of spiral downwards in that hard part of your day. You don't have to do that. You can get this over with in how long does that take? Maybe 60 seconds, let's say 3 minutes at the most. You're gonna get it over with and you're gonna move on. Reward yourself with something. There's so many ways that we can kind of eliminate all the drama. Preparing dinner. Oh, the witching hour. Isn't that what that refers to? This can be a really hard part of the day. Kids are home from school. Maybe your toddler is tired. There's a lot of things that could be happening. Maybe you're just having food crisis and you just never know what to make for dinner. I have a couple videos. I will link on that if you're really burnt out on cooking. I think there are so many good options. Maybe it's just the actual prepping the dinner. You have the plan. It's not a big deal, but holy cow, everyone makes it so hard. Kids are needing you. Babies are crying. Just come up with something that's gonna work for you. I do turn on music during this time of the day. This is kind of my time of okay, it's time for some upbeat, exciting music to get us all through this part of the day. You can definitely set aside some maybe special table activities for your toddler. Maybe this is when they get to do Play-Doh or coloring and you set them up on the table so it's kind of near you where you're cooking dinner. So you can kind of keep an eye on them, but it's really exciting for them and it keeps them busy. Honestly, maybe this is the window of time that screens are allowed. Give yourself some sanity. They get these 30 minutes to be on screens while you're cooking dinner. There's a lot of options. Just explore. Be willing to experiment what really could make this easier for me and by extension, everyone. Next, I do think we should talk about when our husbands come home from work. So maybe dinner's cooked and husband comes home from work, and I just feel like for a lot of moms, this can actually be kind of a hard point in the day. In some ways it can be really awesome, right? An adult help, But then on that same token, it can actually be really discouraging or really frustrating if we're feeling like he's not as helpful as we wish he would be. Or, man, we've talked about this. I really want him to X, Y, or Z. I really want him to be engaging with the kids, or I want him to clean up after dinner, and he's just not doing that. There can be a lot of unmet expectations, I would say. This might just be that hard part of the day. So come up with mostly what you need for you. What do you need to do to take care of yourself during this trickier time of the day? Maybe you need some more communication with your husband. Maybe you need to post a little checklist where you're kind of dividing up the responsibilities. Whatever you think is going to work for you, give something a try. And then, of course, at the end of the day, just know maybe that's just a hard time of the day, and that is okay. It's only this certain window of time. There are a lot of other great parts of the day, and we can choose to just focus on those good times. Kids' bedtime. We cannot talk about hard parts of the day without talking about kids' bedtime. I personally do not struggle with this. It's been a really, really, really long time that I've just had a bedtime routine so figured out that it's a really great time for us in our house. I do have a bedtime boot camp, little really affordable program that really walks you through everything you would need to know. If you're interested, I will link that in the description. Mainly, if this is a time of the day that you just dread, it might be time to get some better systems in place. Maybe you're not super consistent, and so your kids are having a really hard time even really knowing what is expected. It could be a streamlining issue. Once again, maybe things are just scattered. They're going here to brush their teeth, and they're going here to pick their book, and then they're going here to go to the bathroom, and it just takes forever. Maybe there's a lot of whining and complaining. There's a lot of things that could be going wrong. It could even go back to our last point. Maybe your husband is just not as helpful as you wish he would be. Identify the pain points and just get to work on them. Experiment what could make this better. And maybe you're sitting here thinking, I've done everything. There's no way to make bedtime a positive experience. That's okay. I have totally been there with certain things. It's okay to just acknowledge, you know what? This is kind of the worst. And I just need to get through it. Again, reward yourself with something after. Make sure that there's something mixed in there. Maybe it's music, maybe it's the lower lighting, something that you kind of have control over that you're doing for you. You're just kind of telling yourself, I've got your back. I know this is a hard time for you right now. It's okay. We're gonna get through this. We've got this. We can still show up for bedtime with confidence. Lastly, let's talk about our bedtime. Kind of your evening routine, your wind down routine, maybe getting to bed. That is really hard for a lot of moms because we are depleted. We are just drained by the end of the day. It can even feel a little depressing, I would say. Just we finally have some time to ourselves and we want more of it. We want to just be. We want to just relax, or maybe we want some connection with our spouse. Maybe we want to finally get this thing done that we haven't been able to finish all day long. I have to say, I highly recommend you prioritize your bedtime. Make your evening routine such that you get your fill of time to yourself. You're taking care of yourself in some way, but that there is a limit. For me, 10 p.m., I'm in bed every single night. Very rare is there a time that I go past that point because I just know, for me, I need sleep to feel good the next morning. I'm not the type, some people are, and if you are, truly, that's amazing. I'm not the type that can just 5 hours of sleep, 6 hours of sleep. I need 8 hours of sleep. I just do. And so prioritizing bed for me is built into my routine. And there was honestly a really long stretch where I had a hard time at bedtime because all those things that I said. And over a long time, it took me a while to really figure out what works for me. And I will tell you what that is if you're curious. But I figured out what works for me to make it so that I really look forward to this evening time and that I'm ready and excited to go to bed, knowing that it's truly what's best for me. So what I figured out for me, number one, getting my kids in bed every single night at the same time, nice and early, is the first step. And then I have a good long time. I have 2.5 hours really before 10 o'clock. My kids go to bed at like 7:30. They don't go to sleep, but they go to bed. That gives me a long time, so I can get some work done if that's what I need to and want to do. I can get the dishes finished if that didn't happen earlier in the evening. I can have some time with my spouse, and I always shower at night because that's what works for me. And so I look forward to lighting the candles that are on in my bathroom, on my toilet. We have a really little bathroom, so they're on the toilet. I turn on one of my two favorite playlists right now. It's Hollow Coves, love them, and Nora Jones. It's a Spotify playlist that is just, I don't know, it's music for my soul. It just is so good at the end of the day, relaxing. It just puts me in a good mood. So anyway, I enjoy my shower, listening to music. It's just candlelight. And I feel relaxed even just talking about it. So come up with an evening routine that works for you, or maybe it's just always going to be one of those harder times of the day, and that's okay, right? We've talked about how we can approach that still with confidence, knowing, okay, I really have a hard time with this. I've put these other things in place to try to make it a little bit easier, and it's just going to be hard for me, and that's okay. We all have harder times of the day. They're different for each one of us, but no matter what they are, as we accept the fact that certain parts of the day are just gonna feel harder than others, we won't create as much drama for ourselves or be trying to avoid it or getting really worked up over it. It's just part of life. It's part of being a human. We can choose to appreciate the variety of emotions because it is just that, the good and the bad, that gives us strength and resilience in our lives, and we know that. So we don't have to dread these certain things. We can simply experience it. We don't have to avoid these certain things. We can simply just show up for it with confidence. I can do this. This will pass. This is just one little part of my day. Whatever is helpful for you to tell yourself. I want you to have more peace in your day. So if getting dressed is a pain point for you right now, be sure to check out this next video that will give you encouragement in your wardrobe. You can look good and feel good. You ladies are just so amazing, and I will see you very soon.